My dream has been reaching out to alcoholics, drugs, and substance abusers. My name is Apostle Juma, and this is my story.
Poverty, hopelessness, societal neglect, and violence are some of the situations lurking in Kenyan slums. Lack of empowerment and unemployment being their everyday sad reality, a big percentage of the fast-growing population in the slums is forced to adapt to the system, a system of crime and dangerous societal vices to survive through poverty and lack. In the heart of Githogoro slum, we meet Micka Juma, a servant of God determined to rewrite his story and rescue lost souls from the clutches of poverty and despair.
Born and raised in Nyakach, I went to Agai Primary School from 1974 to 81. I joined Yambondo Boys High School. That is where I did my high school. Back at home, I was raised in a polygamous family, and you can imagine how a polygamous family runs and operates in an African setup. When things are not working well between your mom and your dad, then life becomes difficult. I learned how to live in an area or an environment where you are lacking the basics, including school fees, the basics including clothing, including food. I know how it feels to lack food. I know how it feels to lack shoe. I know how it feels to lack clothes. I know even how it feels to lack your mom for a given period. Because I can imagine there were times that my mom lost her mental order due to pressure of polygamy. And for 1 year, we didn't see our mom. We found ourselves being taken care of by our auntie, who was, by God's grace, married to my dad's cousin. And life was difficult. Life was difficult. Sometimes when I think of such moments, I salute my mother. She went through hard stuff, and I was told, and I didn't see, that in our earlier life with my dad, she was driving her own car, she had a wholesale, and she was managing her own business very well until polygamy came into place. Second wife to my dad, third wife to my dad, fourth wife to my dad. The fourth wife came with a proposal that changed the whole story of our family. And we are healing. Up to now, we are healing from the impacts. But I thank God the family came back to its knees by the grace of God after accepting Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. That is how my mama gotten her health back, and that is how I started getting focus.
His determination to rewrite his own story pushed Juma to work tirelessly in his studies, and by the grace of God, he completed high school. Although further studies seemed impossible, Juma's life took a transformative turn when he approached an international NGO.
I wanted to be supported to go to college, but after listening to my story, he decided, because of the background we had, and by then my follower was also supposed to join Form 1. He had finished his KCPE and passed very well. And my second follower was also coming. He said, okay, we are willing to help you, but now we will not sponsor you. You've finished your high school. What we can do, we can include you in some of our casual work that we are still doing. We are still doing some survey here in Nyanza and part of Western, so that you can find your way out using the small money that you will be getting. But now we are channeling through the project we are starting here in Sondu to support your brother and others whom we are thinking of including in the program. And that is how I landed into a World Vision community-based development project as a project worker recruit. By the grace of God, I served there for 10 years. What we were doing was enabling the poor and oppressed, first to know Jesus Christ, second to realize their potential, and walk with them right from standard 1 up to where God was leading them as per the giftings that God had deposited in their lives.
Working with the NGO, Juma discovered his calling to make a positive impact on his community.
I think that is where God wanted to transform my life. I went through their in-house trainings, several workshops on sponsor relations, on donor relations, on transformational development. World Vision took me to Kitale Manor House to train on biointensive agriculture, and I learned training of trainers in community-based healthcare program, in primary healthcare program, in community-based development program.
When his contract ended, Juma didn't stop. He initiated projects to share the skills he had acquired.
That is when I crafted a project, introduction of Langstroth beekeeping. So Langstroth beekeeping, I trained a little bit of youths, and one of the youth group adopted it and perfected it in Nyakach, and connected them with Honeycare Africa and African Beekeepers Limited. And in the process, I gotten some connections with Help International. An opportunity arose. Help International was looking for a coordinator to coordinate their national afforestation program and community-based waste management. By the grace of God, through a friend whom we were with in high school, Nyabondo Boys High School, by the name Amos Owira, connected me with the director, Help International. I handed over the beekeeping program to Ng'o Youth Group in Nyakach and joined Help International, Hurlingham, Nairobi.
Juma's passion to impact communities positively only grew stronger.
We came up with National Afforestation Program, and we crafted a program called Free Tree Program, using recycling polythene waste, the supermarket polythene waste. Hizo to Juala, by then they were using polythene to package your stuff after you've bought some items. So we used to collect those, clean them, and bring them to us, and we buy as an organization. Then we use sealer machines to do pot bags, tree seedling pot bags, fingerling tree seedling pot bags, and then use well organically mixed soil to develop seedlings in those fingerling seedlings. So within a small area, we could have several seedlings. We did that program for 1 year, and we supplied several seedlings to next to 1 million. Through different leaders in Mauche area, Sitotwet area, in those primary schools next to Mao Forest to plant. We could demonstrate zero waste tree seedling planting method. It's a unique method. The kind of hole that is supposed to be done, that once you've planted a tree, there is no need for routine management. It's a unique way of doing it. Then we liaised with the NEMA through the then director Micka, and supplied some tree seedlings to Gucha and Kisi. And through the then Stakeino, we supplied some seedlings to Mao and Mauche area. I can remember Stakeino hosted us in Nakuru, and we supplied some seedlings there. So later on, my contract at Help International expired, and I could not renew it. I was now thinking of going back home to execute what I had learned in Kitale Manor House and start doing my own agribusiness within my portion of land that I have at home, inherited from my dad.
But God had more in store for Juma. Beyond NGO work, he became a pastor.
A pastor whom we served as an organization when we were doing training on waste management, safe handling of household wastes, separating and recycling into usable products. We trained several groups in Kayole, in Kitui village, just next to Majengo, in Kibira, and Makweni, and Katito. So in Kayole, Soweto, we had trained a group, and we interacted with a pastor there. So when he heard that I decided to go back home, he approached me and said, Juma, please, at this age, what are you going to do at home? And you are a minister of the word. As much as you've been doing all this, you've been inviting people to knowing Jesus Christ. I'm planning to do a church ministry in Soweto. Please join me and help me in planting a church in Soweto. The rest is history. Power Revival Center was planted in Soweto. Sheep Care Academy was started in Soweto. And Pastor Luke Jakoyua, who is now bishop, is managing.
How did Juma get to Godogoro slums? We'll find out after this short break.
FamilyNews.Today provides an escape room from the clutter through our podcasts, from church escapades,
get disappointed with God, and I think it's a misplaced anger,
to daily devotionals.
The beauty about God's love is that it was focused on all that God had.
To financial and life tips, bedtime stories for your child. All these and much more available just for you on FamilyNews.Today on Spotify, Google Podcast, and SoundCloud. Insights at your fingertips.
Contemporary wisdom has it that when passion meets purpose, you become fulfilled in your role of helping others. True to this, Juma found his purpose in his passion.
I found myself in Huruma, in a meeting, brainstorming over what could be done in Huruma to address the alcoholism that was rampant in the lives of the youth, and also illiteracy. New Dawn Educational Center was born out of that meeting.
Sasa nikasikia kuna shule ya New Dawn iko hapo ya msaada. Nikakimbia kwa ofisi, nikamkuta Bwana Juma. Hapo ndio ilikuwa mara yangu ya kwanza kumwona Bwana Juma akiwa kama principal. Nilienda nikamkuta, kanikaribisha vizuri, tukaongea, kawa hata na maombi kidogo. Alafu sasa nikamwambia shida zangu, akanitia moyo, akaniambia usife moyo, mwambie kijana aje, hata kama hataweza kurudia, kuna njia nyingine tunaweza muonyesha hata kama ni course.
I taught as a teacher, taught agriculture and CRE, New Dawn Educational Center, for 3.5 years. That is when I resigned. After listening to what God was putting in my heart, now to go full blown, it was a struggle. It was a struggle because I was going to a land of nowhere. I didn't know the details, but God wanted me to do something different. Why? Because yes, at New Dawn, we had opportunity to recruit only 40 per year. I was privileged to be in the panel of recruiting those who could benefit in the scholarship program run by New Dawn. We could get an application of more than 100, but we could only take 40. So one evening as I was going to town, I happened to use a shortcut. And that shortcut, before reaching Kiambu Road, I was approached by 3 young men. And they recognized me. They said, Mwalimu, where are you going? Sasa hivi unaenda wapi? Nataka nifike town, ndio nimalize shughuli zangu town, alafu niende Ruaka. Kasema, mwalimu, usipite hapa. Rudi hivi mahali umetoka na upite na ile route ingine. Kwa sababu sasa hii tuko kazini. So I said, what? Tuko kazini. Then akainua hivi, nikaona something strange. Kasema, okay. Mwalimu, usijali, because haikuwa ungekuwa na nguvu, wewe ungetuchukua na tungesoma. Na pia haikuwa makosa ya shule kwa sababu walikuwa na target. Na sisi sasa hatukupata hiyo nafasi. So hii ndio tunafanya, hatukusoma. Kasema, I felt so bad that yes, they wanted to learn. 2, I was involved in recruiting. I didn't recruit them because we had a target. Is there anything I can do different? That is how Open School Educational Center was born.
In 2012, Juma's plan took shape, leading him to Godogoro.
I found myself in Githogoro, February, starting a school with no capital, with no facility. I approached a pastor, by then Pastor Joseph Waweru of Kenya Assemblies of God Church. I shared what I had with the wife. Over the phone, he introduced me to the wife. And they were a little bit skeptical because I was talking of a secondary school. And by then I didn't have this body. I was going through that struggle of struggling with God. Yes, no, yes, no. Not me, my education, my contacts, my capacity in terms of resources. How will I make it? I was still struggling with God. So I lost weight. I was weighing 55 kgs. I didn't have this body. And I could see it psychologically. They looked at me and saw somebody was talking of a high school. I looked mad. But it kept on pumping inside me. I said, then the wife asked me, how can we help you? Then I said, if you can allow me to use this church hall. By then it was a timber hall that was almost falling. If you can allow me to use this timber hall, as a class for a start. And then allow me to use your plastic chairs so that the way members of your church sit as they listen to you preaching, the students will also sit as they listen to teachers teaching. Because the philosophy behind open school is open schooling. I borrowed mine, though there is open schooling philosophy, but mine was the methodology Jesus Christ used in teaching. Because Jesus Christ didn't organize facilities, he didn't wait for everything to be in place. He could call Philip, he could call Peter, could call John, he could call them and just telling them what he wanted. The Sermon on the Mount, he saw a crowd, he started teaching. After teaching, he ordered what he wanted to be done. Then he fed them. So I borrowed that concept that you want to know how to read and write. I teach you how to read and write. You want to do KCSE. I get the syllabus, get people who have done it, your brothers and sisters who are looking for a job, donate their time as an offering, 40 minutes in class, deliver that topic, and prepare you to do KCSE. That was the concept. So 2012, after interacting with the wife of Pastor Joseph Waweru, by the grace of God, may God bless them, they allowed me to use that church hall. The recruitment was done. To my surprise, 65 boys and girls came to learn. And then later on, an educationist who was a friend of mine came. And because of his certificate and license from Ministry of Education, he became the director of Open School Educational Center. And he started now organizing the teaching staff to do what the Ministry of Education needed.
Open School was registered and was fully operational from 2019 to 2021 when COVID-19 hit the globe.
Over 470 boys and girls whom, due to circumstances, were unable to go to secondary school, realized their secondary school education through Open School Educational Center. Were it not for COVID, the school could have been operating up to date. But COVID happened 2019, and because of logistical challenges, we couldn't continue. We had to phase out.
Closing down an educational center wasn't an easy decision, but Juma discovered another pressing need in the slum in 2021.
Preaching to a drunkard person is very difficult. But we found ourselves, we had grace. God gave us grace to reach out to them in their dens where they were taking alcohol. So we could ask for permission to get some minutes where they were drinking. And we could do services there and do altar calls there. And then welcome them to what we used to call, and still calling, missional eating. So missional eating, they just come. We avail kichwa ya mbuzi or mguu ya ng'ombe, ile nini kikwetu tunaita orenge. So we avail that orenge, and then they prepare themselves. They prepare ugali themselves, and then they eat fast. They drink that soup to their satisfaction, and then we allow them to have a venting forum where they just share their stories.
True to John chapter 12 verse 32, by lifting up the Lamb of God from earth, he drew men to himself.
That program gave birth to a church, and now Faith Missional Community was born. Where you are sitting is the office of Faith Missional Community in Githogoro. Through Faith Missional Community, we are reaching out to everybody and anybody who is going through challenge of alcoholism, drug and substance abuse. This is their home.
Mimi mwenyewe aliamua, akasema kaona ni hakuna yoyote naweza kufanya. Naanza kufanya kasi ya pombe. Kutoka hapo mimi alikuwa kama hakuna siku mimi salala bila kuingia kwa pombe ama kukuwa na customer ya pombe.
In my daily duty as a principal of Open School Educational Center, I happened to come across Mama Caro when we were handling cases of students. I happened to find out that she does the changa brewing business.
Pombe sasa hakuna faida naweza kupata. Napata waskari nachukua. Sasa nakaa tu kama nafanyia waskari. Unaweza kufanya kazi, unaona waskari anakuja napiga peksen, labda amepasua vitu.
I didn't introduce Jesus Christ to her by then until when the Faith Missional Community was born and we started now outreach.
Mimi nimeona heri mimi aingie kwa kanisa. Awachana maneno ya pombe. Sababu siku hiyo mimi aliona fadhali mimi akupe. Naona watoto yangu wako na huzuni, mimi mwenyewe hako na huzuni. Nyumba hakuna kitu tunaweza kukula. Mimi ameamua. Sitawacha Mungu tena.
Then later on I introduced Jesus Christ to her. And she said, my son, not only accepting Jesus Christ, I am tired doing this business.
Nilikuwa nanunuaga pombe. Nilikuwa nimekaa zaidi ya miaka 5. Lakini wakati nilikuja nikaingia kwa kanisa ni mimi nikawachana na mambo ya pombe. Sasa ninaishi kwa Yesu.
Pombe nilianza kukunywa 2012. Nikiwa hapa sijui kama wewe anakumbuka. Mama Sikaro nakumbuka. Kutoka 2012 nikaanza kukunywa pombe na tangu nianze kukunywa sijui ilala hata siku moja hivi. Kutoka 2012 mwezi wa 8 sijui ilala hata siku moja hivi. Sasa naona kutoka sasa niko na wiki inaisha, si ndio? Wiki inaisha. Hata wewe alikuwa ananiuliza kwani wewe siku hizi umekuwa aje? Kasema hapana, sasa maisha tunataka tubadilishe maisha tuende stage nyingine sasa.
Bile niliona yeye mwenyewe amejitokeza akatoka kwa hiyo vitu, hiyo pombe. Ndio ilifanya hata na mimi roho yangu ikakatika, ikasema sasa hata ni afadhali nifuate yeye.
Jaribu nyingine tena uone iko namna gani. Sasa ya pasta ndio nataka anionyeshe sasa yake. Unaona? Juu hiyo ya Mama Karo kutoka 2012 nimekuwa naye. Sasa nipate pia pasta pia anipeleke nione pasta ya pasta pia inaenda namna gani.
So from my office and friends and Karura Community Chapel, we do give those who are going through hunger. Every Wednesday, we do give them food stuff as relief. But relief attached to it is a process of release. So those who are in that program of relief, we are including them in a training program where we identify what they are good at. And then we take them through hands-on skills. Some flagship projects that we've been employing is the detergent and liquid soap making, where we take them through search.
Tutoka tumeojuana na Juma, in fact imebadilika kwanza kiroho, pili financially, na sana sana hakuna kitu kizuri kama rafiki ambaye anakuambia tunaenda hii safari na kuna simba mbele, lakini haitatukula. Kwa hivyo tumekuwa pamoja na Juma, amekuwa pamoja akini encourage, akinitia moyo, na sana sana kukitokea kitu ambacho kingekuwa kama msaada hivi, nilikuwaga ndio wa kwanza kupata.
Just like Juma, you too can make a difference in your community. We hope that his story has inspired you. If you have a story you would like to share with us, kindly text us on 20316 or WhatsApp on 0786 316 316 and we will get back to you.